Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope everybody is having a great week so far. Students, today we're doing an IELTS reading class. We're going to look at a reading passage. The title is The Aral Sea is Gone. Welcome, Lewis. Hi, Aridna. Good to see many of our members here with me today. Everybody, please keep in mind that this class is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS. Visit us there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. These are our websites, and if you want to really improve quickly for the IELTS exam, please join them. This is our academic website here with the blue background, and all you have to do is click this big red button to join the premium package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. The general version of our website is this one here. It's gieltshelp.com. Again, just join this class or join these courses by clicking this big red button there, and you're good to go. Students, we are an IDP affiliate, a British Council partner, and an IELTS test registration center. We are here to help you pass your IELTS exam. For those of you who are premium users, you get 2 extra classes each week on Thursdays and Fridays through Zoom. You can check out those premium Zoom classes through this link. Welcome to our members, Anna, Abraham. Welcome, students. And on the websites, you can use the code TOGETHER9 for an extra 10% discount. The apps are Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help. They will link to the web app as well, the mobile app, so you can learn on the go anywhere you are. And if you have questions, just send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com or admin@aehelp.com. Glad to answer those questions through email. Instagram is IELTS_AEhelp and GIELTS Help. Students, today it's reading. Tomorrow we have speaking here on YouTube as well, so I hope to see you then. And if you're looking for some more videos, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. Here is one of our more recent video releases that you can take a look at when you have a little bit of time. All right, let's get into today's reading lesson without further ado. So, IELTS reading, this is taken from our academic course material, but for general IELTS students, your reading section 3 is very, very akin to the reading passages of the academic IELTS. So, stay with us and improve your reading fluency and comprehension through this class. So the title here, so just read with me, students. We'll look at the full passage here, and then after the passage we're going to look at some questions. We're going to have a fill in the blanks that's kind of like this table style, and then matching the paragraphs to information, and then a yes, no, not given type of question. Lewis, these are extra materials. Lewis is asking which test is this from. These are extra materials that are available to premium users. So Lewis, if you send me an email, I can send you this material. Okay, so students, when you're in the IELTS exam, your first step when you get to a reading passage like this one is to read the title. Okay, so The Aral Sea is Gone, Reasons and Impacts. And everybody, I am watching the chat here, so you can ask me questions and answer questions. When you read the title, the first step is you need to think about, what is this about? Why could this be? So the Aral Sea is gone. Now, some of you may or may not know where the Aral Sea is, but that's okay. If you don't know where the Aral Sea is, it's fine. You know that there's a sea that is gone, so some kind of body of water that's not there. Um, and then you have reasons and impacts. So what you want to think about in the actual IELTS at this point is, before you continue reading, it's really important that you think about the information. So that's kind of my first tip here, is for high band scores, always read the title and think about the meaning. Okay, so what does it mean? What does this title mean? Get your brain kind of working around the title. It will really help you to understand the passage a lot better. So here, the Aral Sea is gone. What does that mean? Okay. What do you think, students? Tanvi, these are our own exams developed in parallel with Cambridge. So these are, again, coming from our own materials here. So if somebody asks me, there's a body of water that's gone, like a lake is gone or a sea is gone, what does that mean? It means it has dried up. So the water is gone for some reason. And then you might ask why. Why is it gone? So why would so much water just disappear over time? So what's happening, right? What could cause that kind of a change? And again, I'm thinking about this before I start reading, right? So Abraham says evaporation. Yep, could be evaporation. So it could be climate change, right? Weather turning hot. Okay. Ugul Han says it could be overused. Yep, so human activity. And what kind of human activity? Okay, DT says maybe some nuclear testing. Overused human activity, maybe farming, right? Growth of cities. Industrial production, yes. Industry, absolutely. So all of those start to come to mind. And then you think about the how question. So how does this happen? Right? So you go through these questions of what, why, and how. These are kind of the critical steps to thinking before you read. And when you have all this information in your head, it will help you to understand the passage. So Fazika says it could be irrigation. So some kind of crop requires irrigation. Excuse me. That drains the water. Absolutely. And don't spend too much time on thinking about this. So just a minute or so. You have about 20 minutes for the whole passage, but spending about 1 minute on figuring out what the title means, or thinking about what the title means, can be very useful for understanding the passage. Okay, and then before you read the passage, have a quick look at the questions. And I mean quick, so you shouldn't spend a lot of time reading the questions. You just kind of want to get an idea. So here we have a table with a subject and comments. So here we have the subject Aral Sea. Now students, this is a reading class, so read with me, okay? So though it is called a sea, the Aral Sea is actually one of the largest something in the world. The body of water was formed when geologic forces affected the flow of two something, the Amu Darya and the Sir Darya. Okay, so obviously the passage will have some information about the geography. Okay, so that's what you want to do with the questions, is you want to use the questions to get a better idea of the passage content. So quickly, and this is another tip here, okay, just like with the title. So quickly read the questions to get an idea of the passage content. Okay, so for example, in this case, the geography or the history of the Aral Sea. Okay. All right, the next subject is cotton. Everybody knows what cotton is. Our clothes are often made of cotton. It's a type of plant that's turned into thread, and then that is used to make clothing. So cotton comes from the cotton plant, which can be found in many warmer regions of the world. The oldest evidence of cotton production has been found in something. Today, the natural resource cotton production requires more than anything else is, this has resulted in the depletion of the Aral Sea. And if you don't understand every word in the question, students, like depletion, don't worry about it. So don't spend time trying to figure that out, okay? This is just a quick review of the questions before reading the passage, okay? Modern day Uzbekistan. Cotton production is ongoing in Uzbekistan, excuse me, and its economy still relies on it. Indeed, cotton production is part of the something of Uzbekistan. Okay, so we've got Aral Sea, we've got cotton, we've got modern day Uzbekistan as the topic. So we're starting to learn a little bit about the Aral Sea, where it is, what it might have been used for, so cotton production. So this is a good point when we start to vindicate what we're thinking about the title. So it means, you know, during the title I was thinking maybe farming, so maybe that farming is cotton farming. Okay. Negative effects. Cotton production has many negative effects on communities, on the environment, and on the something of individuals. Okay, now we might be able to guess some of these answers, like number 19 might be on the lives of individuals, but we don't know. It could be the health of individuals, it could be others, so I'm not too concerned. I'm not trying to figure these out exactly yet. Okay. So I go to the next questions, and it says reading passage 2 has 7 paragraphs, A to G. Which paragraph contains the following information? This is a very popular type question. It's not effective to use skimming or scanning. So a lot of people try to rely too much on skimming and scanning. They think that the best way to do the IELTS reading is just to skim read or scan for the answers, but that doesn't work very well, especially not for high band scores like band 7, 8, or 9. And the reason for that is because this type of question, like number 20, the degree of shrinkage of the Aral Sea, that might be the last paragraph. So if you're skim reading, you're going to spend 5 minutes just skim reading through the whole passage to find one answer. So skim reading and scanning is just it's a supplementary strategy. It's not a main strategy. Okay. And when you're reading these questions here, you want to try to paraphrase them as you're reading them. So that means think about them in your own words. The degree of shrinkage of the Aral Sea in the past would be like the amount the Aral Sea got smaller in previous years. Okay, so that would be my paraphrase. Try this one, students. So the human suffering from cotton production. Okay, so how can I say that in my own words? The human suffering from cotton production. Again, and the reason why you're doing this, so the reason why you're trying to think about the answers in your own words is because then you will be able to spot the answers much, much faster while you're reading. Okay, so people having bad lives from cotton farming. Okay, and again, it doesn't have to be great paraphrasing, it just has to make sense, and it has to be something similar, right? So here, the creation of the Aral Sea, the way the Aral Sea was made. Okay. The development of cotton production in the USSR. So maybe the growth of the cotton industry in the Soviet Union. Okay. So again, just as fast as you can. Okay, so Lewis says the anthropogenic harm by cotton manufacturing. Yeah, and that might be a little bit complex, Lewis, but it works. Okay. The tool that accelerated the need for cotton. So the piece of equipment that increased the cotton manufacturing. Okay. So that's what I want to do with these types of questions while I'm reading and reviewing before the passage, just to get a good idea of what these are. And if I can't paraphrase one, that's going to be trouble. That means I don't understand it, right? So if that happens, don't worry too much about it. Just focus on what you do know. All right. Then we have the yes, no, not given question. With yes, no, not given questions, don't worry about it, because you don't know what's true, what's false, right? So these questions, I recommend just ignoring the true, false, not given, yes, no, not given before the passage. You don't know if the statement is false or if it's not given, so it could just basically confuse your thoughts before you read the passage. Okay. All right. And some of you know where the Aral Sea is because you're from Kazakhstan or Uzbekistan. Okay, so once you've reviewed the questions, then students, you start reading. Okay, so you read each paragraph, not fast. You read it to understand it. Okay, so again, this is a very important tip, because too many IELTS candidates, they just kind of rush through the reading passage and don't really, they're so worried about the time and the questions that they're not paying attention to the information. There's a very important tip. Read the passage in about 10 minutes, which is quite a bit of time. It's fairly slow, okay? So read the passage in about 10 minutes. Focus on understanding, especially the main ideas, okay? And very importantly, another tip here is visualize. Okay, so see yourself, okay? See yourself doing cotton farming on the shores of the Aral Sea. Okay, so put yourself in the information. It's very, very important. That will help you to remember the information. Okay. A lot of these tips and strategies that I'm giving you right now, students, if you really want to learn them, again, go to our website, join the premium version, and then you'll be in your My Student account. You'll log in, and then you'll have these exams in your exam books, and you'll have a full interactive course that explains all parts of the reading section, and really gives you some very clear steps on what you need to do with each of the question types, and all of the questions that you can see on the IELTS. And you'll be a lot more confident. So combine these live classes with the course. Here you have an embedded reading passage. There's a different one that's used in the course here, but you get the idea. And same thing with the general IELTS. So again, click the big red button, and then you have all of those practice exams, access to all of our live classes, and lots more help, right? So don't waste too much time just randomly searching for materials, okay? It's a much more effective way to quickly improve and maximize your use of these live classes. Okay, so let's get into reading. Here we go. So again, students, this is a reading class, so we're going to read together. Start with me. So the Aral Sea is gone. Reasons and impacts. Now, students, another important tip is don't answer questions while you're reading. That breaks your train of thought. That breaks your reading fluency and comprehension. So read first and then answer the questions. If you're going for high band scores like 7.5, 8, 8.5, that's definitely the right way to do it. Okay. All right, here we go. So a century ago, the Aral Sea was the fourth largest lake on Earth, with water sourced from two rivers, the Amu Darya River and the Sir Darya River. The lake was a bountiful fishing source for lakeside communities throughout history. Okay, so everybody's seeing the lake. You're seeing yourself fishing, right? In the 20th century, this changed dramatically with the rise of the Soviet Union and the demand for cotton, which grew easily in the surrounding area. The Aral Sea, which is technically a lake, began to shrink. Today, there is almost no water left. It truly is one of the planet's worst environmental disasters. Okay, so some kind of an environmental disaster here. Okay, so what is this paragraph about? A description of the Aral Sea, right, which is actually a lake. Let's keep going. The Aral Sea is located between Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan, two former Soviet republics. It was formed over 5 million years ago when geologic forces prevented the two rivers' water from reaching their final destination. These forces created a lake with an area of 68,000 square kilometers, a body of water that was full of fish for the neighboring communities. 200,000 generations relied on this fish to sustain themselves and trade with nearby groups. It wasn't until the mid-20th century that the situation changed. And when it began to change, it would not be long until all the water was gone and the local economies were ruined. Okay, so what is this about? The history, the long history of the Aral Sea. Okay. 5 million years ago, used for fishing for many, many generations until recent times when this all changed. Okay. C, the cotton fabric, which makes up much of modern clothing, comes from the cotton plant, which is native to tropical and subtropical regions worldwide, from the Americas to Africa and India and Australia. It has been processed by humans since antiquity. There's evidence of cotton production dating back 8,000 years in Peru. However, the invention of the cotton gin by Eli Whitney in 1794 transformed both the production of cotton and its environmental impact. Okay, so this one, what is it about? The history of the cotton industry and its revolution with the cotton gin. Okay. Now, students, when you're reading, so when you're doing what I'm doing here, this is a good strategy. So you read the paragraph, and then when you're done the paragraph, you ask what is it about, and then you give an answer. Okay. D. Cotton production in the 20th century was fine-tuned. That is, it had been improved over time to optimize its output. What was not taken into account, however, was its environmental impact. In the 1940s, the USSR experienced a massive drought. There was no water for crops, and thus many people starved to death. Joseph Stalin, the dictator of the country, directed a great plan for the transformation of nature, the goal of which was to improve the agricultural output of the nation. One part of this plan involved transforming the lands of the Uzbek SSR, modern Uzbekistan, into cotton crops. This was not a bad idea at first thought. The Uzbek lakeside lands were suitable for the cultivation of the crop. The Soviets provided water for the crops by exploiting the natural water flow in the area, the Amu Darya and Sir Darya rivers. This system was stable for about 20 years until the Soviet government decided to expand the irrigation system to increase production in the 1960s. This required more water. Water has to come from somewhere, and in this case, the water came from the two rivers. Because the water from the two rivers was also the source of the Aral Sea, it began to shrink. Okay, so what is this paragraph about? The use of water from the rivers supplying the Aral Sea, causing drought or causing it to shrink. Okay. Very good, Lewis. I love how some of you are keeping up with me, and hopefully all of you are keeping up with me and typing kind of what your thoughts are of what this is about. So very nice. Okay, very nice. That's what you want to do. So this is ideally what you're doing in the actual IELTS exam. And if you have the chance, use your note paper, write down these sentences. Okay. All right. E. Starting in the 1960s, the Aral Sea shrank by 50 to 100 centimeters per year. By 1987, the lake had dried so much that it had been divided into two, the large Aral in the south and the small Aral in the north. This was an environmental disaster. The separation of the lake changed the salt levels in each lake, which resulted in wildlife deaths as well as increased evaporation levels, water loss. So see, one of you said, I think it was Abraham, that there was evaporation that was happening as well. Very good. By 2002, the southern lake had completely evaporated, and by 2014, all the water was gone. What was left was called Aralkum, a desert. Okay, so what is this paragraph about? It is about the Aral Sea splitting into two, and the south part becoming a desert. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. So this desert is not just an interesting artifact of the human impact on the earth. Instead, the desert is a disease-riddled black hole whose dust blows through the region regularly, spreading illness and dangerous chemicals. For example, the USSR once operated a biological weapons facility in the lake, and now the chemical byproducts of the testing are open to the air and affect neighboring communities. As there is no water, there is also no fish, and this is catastrophic for the once lakeside communities. Not only have they lost a source of food, they have also lost a key industry. Today, the people of the region suffer from a poor economy, high levels of poverty, toxic drinking water, and a scarcity of resources. Okay, so what is this about? The environmental disaster of the situation and the negative impact on the communities. Okay, so on the surrounding communities. So that's what it's about here. It's telling us basically like this is bad. People who lived around this lake or who live around this lake are really having a tough time because there's no more fishing. There's some toxic dust. So bad. Okay, conclusion G. Cotton still grows in Uzbekistan. Indeed, the cotton harvest holds a special place in Uzbek culture, with the country coming together each year to take hold of the valuable crop and bring it to market. In a way, it is as if the Soviet ways still hold sway. The Uzbek economy relies on cotton production with little regard for its environmental, social, and health impacts. In this case, the destruction of the Aral Sea is a small-scale example of the environmental damage and exploitation we have brought upon the planet as a whole. It is too late for the Aral Sea, but is it too late for Earth? Okay, so kind of harsh, but what is this paragraph about? About the environmental damage created by humans and a warning of human activity leading to the destruction of Earth. Okay. So now that I've read the passage, okay, even if I don't understand all of it, it's okay. All right. So you don't have to understand the passage 100% when you finish. Ideally, students, I mean, if you're in the IELTS and you want to get a band 6.5 or a 7, you should understand about 70% of what you're reading. If you want to get a higher score like a band 8 or a 9, you should understand about 80 to 85%. If you understand less than 50% of the passage, it might be wise to just wait on the exam and improve your reading skills. So just this tip here, or this advice, okay, to get a band 6.5 in reading, you should understand about 70% of what you read. Okay. It's very, very important. Okay, so if you don't understand that much, it might be a better idea to just kind of, sorry students, just a sec, to hold off and just wait a little bit. Okay. All right, and that's when you can use all the reading materials on the website. Again, I keep bringing you back here, but it's because we want what's best for you. On the website, it's a one-time payment of like 30 to 50 bucks US, and you get lifetime access, so it's not very expensive. And this is definitely the right way to improve that fluency and that coherence. There are a lot of really great strategies there for how to improve fluency and coherence. Okay. So these classes, again, they work the best when you use our websites and when you attend all of these live classes. Okay. All right, so let's do these questions, students. So 14 to 19, complete the table below. Choose one word only. Always pay close attention to these instructions. So one word only from the passage for each answer. So write your answers in boxes 14 to 19. Okay. All right. Bernard, we'll get there soon. So the subject is the Aral Sea. This kind of goes with the order of the passage. Comments, though it is called a sea, the Aral Sea is actually one of the largest something in the world. So what is it? It's one of the largest. It's not a river. The Aral Sea is made by rivers. It's one of the largest lakes. Yeah, and it's one of the, so it has to be lakes. One of the largest lakes, not rivers. It's made by rivers, but the Aral Sea is a lake. It's like a saltwater lake, if I understand correctly. And it says, I think, the answer right here in the beginning. Now, again, you don't need to search. Like, students, for this one, in all honesty, you shouldn't be searching for this. It tells you this multiple times, okay? All right. Where is it? It says it right here somewhere. Yeah, it says, with the rise of the Soviet Union and the demand for cotton, which grew easily in the surrounding area, the Aral Sea, which is technically a lake. Okay, so there you have the answer, lake, which is technically a lake. Okay, now you do have to make sure that you have correct spelling, and here it's lakes because it's one of the, it's always one of the many. Okay. The body of the body of water was formed when geologic forces affected the flow of two what? Now comes your answer, Lewis. Oh, Lewis, sorry, you said number 15 is rivers. Yes, my bad. Okay, you guys are too fast for me. Okay, so affected the flow of two rivers. Yes, you're too fast. You're already looking at the next question. Stay with the flow of the class, students, so stay with me. We'll get all the answers, don't worry. Okay. And students, even when you give the answer, a really good tip, finish reading, right? So flow of the two rivers, the Amu Darya and the Sir Darya. Okay. Okay, cotton. Cotton comes from the cotton plant, which can be found in many warmer regions of the world. The oldest evidence of cotton production has been found in, anybody remember the country? I remember the country. And you might have to search for it if you don't remember in the IELTS exam. But let's see if anybody remembers. Where did they find cotton production? Very good, Peru. And does anybody remember how many years ago we have signs of cotton production? I remember that even because I was quite surprised. I was like, wow, we've been using cotton for a really long time. Anybody remember? This is kind of a bonus question. And if you do a good job of the reading, then you should have a lot of extra information that's beyond the questions in your head. Very good, Ugulhan. Very good, Abraham. So they say 8,000 years ago. And see, if you remember that, right, then you can go back and discover this quite quickly. So cotton production, here we go, 8,000 years ago in Peru. Okay. And this is where these kinds of sentences, like what the paragraph is about, can really help you. The history of cotton industry and its revolution. So I know it's in here. It's in C, right? Okay. Ibrahim, it wouldn't matter if it's the city of Peru or the country of Peru. It's Peru, right? We're thinking about the country here, I believe, but you don't need to write that down, okay? Don't worry about information that's not needed. So in Peru, today, the natural resource cotton production requires more than anything else is something. So what does cotton need? Well, it's a plant, so it needs sunlight. It needs dirt. It needs warmth. But what does it really need? What's most important to grow cotton? So today, the natural resource cotton production requires more than anything else is water. Of course, don't overcomplicate, students. So we're talking about the Aral Sea using up all the water. So water is it, right? Okay. Modern day Uzbekistan. Cotton production is ongoing in Uzbekistan and its economy still relies on it. Indeed, cotton production is part of the something of Uzbekistan. Okay, I have a couple ideas of what this could be. And Lewis says it could be economy. Yep. I think it could be culture, Ariadna says maybe. Okay, could be economy, could be culture, tradition, maybe. Okay, so how do I know what is the right answer? Well, this is the question. I might kind of just check the passage. So where does it talk about it, right? Anybody remember where it talks about the answer? Somewhere near the end, if I remember correctly, right? Or kind of in the middle. Okay. It's after this part here. And I remember there's a lot about Uzbek SSR, Uzbek lakeside lands. Okay. So this is where I might do a little bit of skim reading, and this is a good example of where you should use skim reading, right? Okay. So here I'm reading about this and kind of skim reading for modern day Uzbekistan cotton crops. This was not a bad idea. Okay. natural water. Okay, it's not really here. I'm looking for Uzbekistan, and I get all the way to the bottom, right? So I was kind of right in that thinking. So cotton still grows in Uzbekistan. Indeed, the cotton harvest still holds a special place in Uzbek culture. Okay, so there you go. That's where it's coming from. So the correct answer is culture. Now, if I'm not sure, I can keep reading, right? With the country coming together each year to take hold of the valuable crop and bringing it to market. Okay, so there it is. And see how, like, when you don't know the answer for sure, it can take a while to go back and skim, read, and scan. Like, it could take me quite a bit of time. The one piece that's helping me here is looking for the country name because it's easy to identify. Okay, so here culture is the correct choice. Make sense, everybody? Everybody doing good? Okay, so it wasn't about the cotton, it was in the kind of in the conclusion. All right. Negative effects. Cotton production has many negative effects on communities, on the environment, and on the something of individuals. I think health is good, but I would probably actually go with lives of individuals. Okay. So I remember that it didn't just talk about the health, it also talked about the way of life. So, for example, the industry of fishing. So I would go with lives of individuals. Now, I don't want to search for that answer unless I have time. Why? Because I'm kind of confident that it's lives and not health. And so if I don't have time, I don't want to waste it on that answer that I think might be correct. Instead, what I want to do is figure out all of the other answers first. Okay, so it could be health, it could be lives. In the IELTS, I would just write down on my note paper question 19 and then remind myself to take a look if I have a time at the end of the reading. Okay. All right. Reading passage 2 has 7 paragraphs, A to G. Which paragraph contains the following information? Write the correct letter in boxes 20 to 24 on your answer sheet. Question 20. The degree of shrinkage of the Aral Sea in the past, the amount the Aral Sea got smaller in previous years. Okay. So this is where it gets interesting, students. This is where all of that work that we're doing with looking at the paragraphs, asking, answering what is the paragraph about helps. So here I want to look for the paragraph where the Aral Sea is split into two. Right? Everybody remember there was a paragraph where it talks about how the Aral Sea kind of got split into two, the north, the south, then the south got really dry, turned into a desert. So I want to find that one. And this is where it's really helpful to have the notes. Okay. Right away, look at this. What is this paragraph about? This is paragraph D here. The use of water from rivers supplying the Aral Sea, causing it to shrink. Okay. So let's see. Let's make sure. Okay. It looks interesting, but it doesn't tell me that. So what I'm going to do is look at the next paragraph. So starting in the 1960s, the Aral Sea shrank by 50 to 100 centimeters. Okay. And that one is here. So good. So I didn't get it right away, but it was helpful enough that I realized it was paragraph E. Okay. By 1987, the lake had dried so much that it had been divided into two. So this is what I'm looking for. So this is E. Okay. The humans suffering from cotton production, people having bad lives. Okay, so this is about, remember, the fishing industry is gone. There's some really toxic dust that's blowing over the land. So I'm looking for environmental damage, pollution. Right away, the environmental disaster of the situation and negative impact on communities. F, and again, I check it. So the desert is not just an interesting artifact of the human impact. It is the desert. It is disease-riddled black hole. Okay, dangerous chemicals spreading illness. So F. Okay. All right. So notice how when you have the right technique, then you're able to answer the questions a lot faster, right? The creation of the Aral Sea, the way the Aral Sea was made, this is going to be somewhere in the beginning. I remember it's the two rivers that are supplying it. So it's the geography, okay? And I believe it was B, right? So the Aral Sea is located between Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan. It was formed over 5 million years ago. Okay. So here, B, Abraham, B. A just describes the Aral Sea. B tells us how it was made. Everybody following me? Okay. All right. You figure out the next one. So the development of cotton production in the USSR. So the growth of the cotton industry. Which paragraph was that, students? We get kind of faster and faster as we go along because we're looking at the same information, right? I remember this. Who, let me ask it to you this way. Who boosted the USSR? Cotton production. 20th century history. Okay. And if you remember this, then it's easy to search for his name. There's one person that we kind of said, okay, well, this guy kind of... Yeah, Lewis, I think you're on the right track. Good for you. You get a big thumbs up. I'm going to give you a thumbs up in the chat there. It's my actual thumb. 3 of them. Boom. There you go. Yeah, very good. That's how you know you're doing good. And Alexander gives us the answer, but with the name correction, aka Stalin. Yes. So that was, I think I just read it, wasn't it? In paragraph D, right? It was the great plan for the transformation of nature. Joseph Stalin, there he is. Right? Very good. So it's D. All right, the tool that accelerated the need for cotton, the piece of equipment that increased cotton manufacturing. Everybody remember what that was? What was the tool? I remember the name of it. It has the same name as a kind of alcohol that's popular around the world. I can't remember the guy's name. It said the guy's name. Anybody remember what that was called? That machine? It's called a cotton... I think it's spelled the same as the alcohol. The cotton gin. That's right. Lewis, very good. The cotton gin. Yeah. Let's see. Where was that? It was... I remember it was even near the end of a paragraph there. However, the invention of the cotton gin by Eli Whitney in 1794 transformed both the production of cotton and its environmental impact. There you go. So cotton gin, and it is spelled G-I-N, so it's C. Okay. Now again, students, this is the right way to do these questions, right? You need to do it with thought with information, not just randomly searching. If you're randomly searching and you're just skimming and scanning, it's really tiring, and it's not the right way. Okay, last couple of questions here. Yes, no, not given. Two of them. Do the following statements agree with the claims of the writer in reading passage 2 in boxes 25 to 26 on your answer sheet? Right? Yes, if the statement agrees with the claims of the writer. No, if the statement contradicts the claims of the writer, or not given, if it is impossible to say. Okay, 25. The well-being of the Uzbek, missing Z there, people has been jeopardized by cotton production. Okay. So, is it important? Yes. Is it true? Yes. Absolutely, right? So there's pollution. The disappearance of water is always going to be a problem. No fishing. Right? So here, the well-being of the Uzbek people has been jeopardized. Yes, it has. Those communities living around the lake are Uzbek, so yes. All right, number 26. The Uzbek people must improve their environmental regulations. Is it important? Maybe. Did anybody visualize or recall part of the passage that's talking about how to repair or how to fix the pollution? Did this passage talk about fixing this at all? So here's a good question that you can ask yourself, right? Again, good logical thinking. So did this passage discuss at all of what could be done to fix this issue? Okay. So Lewis says, I think it is in the last piece. Okay, well, let's see. Does it say Uzbek people? So if you think in the end, in the conclusion, it does. This is where you can do a little bit of skim reading, right? Cotton still grows in Uzbekistan. Indeed, the cotton harvest holds a special place in Uzbek culture, with the country coming together each year to take hold of the valuable crop and bring it to market. In a way, it is as if the Soviet ways still hold sway. The Uzbek economy relies on cotton production with little regard for its environmental, social, and health impacts. In this sense, the destruction of the Aral Sea is a small-scale example of the environmental damage and exploitation we have brought upon the planet as a whole. Is it too late for the It is too late for the Aral Sea, but is it too late for Earth? There's nothing there, right? It's not saying, we need to be. That's not directly stating that. So here, the answer is not given. It didn't tell us either way, right? There's nothing about that. Okay. So not given. There it is, students. That's it. That's how you do a passage. That's how you get all the questions correct. I know that looks a lot easier than it really is in the true IELTS exam. Okay. But you can become very efficient with this. And if you're a premium student and you want to review this passage, please let me know. I can send it to you. Students, if you want to learn these strategies and the right way to do this, then please, again, go to aehelp.com, click that big red button, pay the $30 to $50 US, and use the student account every single day. Log in, go to your computer-based practice exams, watch the hundreds of lesson videos for each of the sections. Got lots of live classes there for you as well. Okay. So use the live classes together with these materials. That's how you improve quickly and efficiently. And again, it's spending a couple bucks for an exam that costs like $200 US. So it's a smart choice. Students, tomorrow we'll have some speaking. That's it for me today. Again, aehelp.com, gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. nice and smooth today. Thank you for your participation. Have a fantastic rest of Tuesday, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.